The clock tower doesn't chime at midnight. Unless someone's going to die. There's an old clock tower at the edge of Ashcroft, a sleepy town most people forget even exists. The tower is tall and rusted, with ivy curling around its stone base like grasping fingers. No one alive remembers when it was built, and no one living knows who built it. It hasn't worked in decades. The townsfolk call it the Hollow Bell, because its bell never rings, not for holidays, not for disasters, not even for timekeeping. It just stands there, silent and forgotten. Until one night, I heard it chime. At exactly midnight. I had just moved back to Ashcroft after college. City life chewed me up and spat me out, and returning to my hometown seemed like the only thing left. My grandmother had passed, and I inherited her crooked little house, barely standing, but still home. I'd always felt a strange unease near the tower as a kid, but that first night back, the unease crawled under my skin like ants. I stayed up late unpacking when the town's power flickered, then died. The silence was thick. And then I heard it, dong. One loud, metallic chime from the direction of the tower. It was deep, echoing, and wrong. I checked my phone. 12 a.m. exactly. By morning, news had already spread. An old man on Millstone Lane was found dead, eyes wide open, mouth twisted into a scream. No wounds. No signs of struggle. Just terror. Locals whispered that he'd been marked. And that's when I remembered the rules. I'd heard them as a child, whispered on the playground, scrawled in notebooks of the strange and paranoid. I used to laugh at them. But now? The rules of the midnight bell. 1. If the bell chimes at midnight, someone will die before sunrise. 2. If you hear the bell, don't speak of it aloud. It notices when you do. 3. If your lights flicker 3 times before midnight, you're marked. Leave town before dark. 4. Never go near the tower after sundown. The shadows there aren't yours. 5. If you hear a second chime, you're already too late. I dismissed it as superstition. A coincidence. But the second night, I heard it again. And this time, I felt it, like the sound passed through my bones, vibrating behind my teeth. The power flickered 3 times. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. At 3:12 a.m., I saw something standing outside my window. Not someone, something. Too tall. Shoulders hunched, head tilted like it was listening. When I blinked, it was gone. I tried leaving the next day, but my car battery was dead. My phone wouldn't turn on. No matter how hard I tried, something kept me here. As night approached, the sky turned an unnatural shade of purple, like a bruise spreading across the world. The clock tower loomed in the distance, and I swore the rusted hands twitched, pointing straight at me. That night, I broke one of the rules. I went to the tower. The air around it was heavy, buzzing with static. As I stepped into its shadow, I could feel whispers in my ears, not voices, but sensations. They didn't speak in words. They understood me. Knew my name, my regrets, the smell of my blood. Inside, the spiral staircase was endless, twisting in impossible geometry. Time didn't pass normally there. My watch spun wildly, and every footstep echoed a second too late. At the top, I found the bell, massive, tarnished, and covered in symbols I can't describe without tasting iron and ash. And beneath it, kneeling, was a woman with no face. Just smooth skin where her features should be. Her hands were bound in rusted chains, her fingers covered in blood. She reached toward me as the bell began to hum. I ran. I didn't look back. It's been 3 days since then. The bell chimes every night now. First 1 ring. Then 2. Then 3. And tonight will be the 4th. There was never a rule about a 4th chime. No one ever lived long enough to hear it. But I will. If you're reading this, follow the rules. Don't ask questions. Don't be curious. And never look at the tower when it's midnight. The bell doesn't like being watched. But of course, I did. You would have too. Curiosity is louder than fear, especially when you're already sleep-deprived and drenched in dread. On the 4th night, as the wind howled through the trees and the shadows on my walls began twitching without cause, I dragged a chair to the attic window and stared directly at the tower. Midnight approached like a predator crawling in the dark, slow and sure. My heart was pounding against my ribs, and the air felt electric, like a storm was coming, but there were no clouds. I swear, just as the clock struck 12 o'clock, I saw the tower breathe. It shifted slightly, like it had lungs. Then the bell rang. Dong. 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 4 chimes. The attic light exploded above me, plunging everything into shadow. And in that moment, the moment the final ring echoed out, the tower turned. It didn't move like an object. It moved like a living thing. The top rotated just a few degrees, its dead clock face aligning with mine like it was looking at me. The fourth chime didn't just signal death. It summoned something. I barely made it out of the attic before the knocking started, not at the door, but from inside the walls. Slow, measured, rhythmic. It moved, from one end of the house to the other. I ran. No phone, no flashlight. Just me in the dark. But no matter how far I ran, the sound of the bell rang in my ears. My legs ached. My breath tore from my throat in gasps. And every time I turned around, I could swear something was closer. No footsteps. No breathing. Just the oppressive feeling that I wasn't alone anymore, that I had been seen. I crashed into the church on the far end of town, the only place still standing that didn't feel corrupted. Father Merton was there, waiting, like he'd been expecting me. He didn't look surprised. Just tired. He didn't ask questions. Just lit a candle and led me to a room behind the altar where the air was colder than outside. That's when he finally spoke. "The fourth chime is a breach," he said. "It means the seal is cracked. That thing inside the tower. It's not a ghost. It's not a demon. It's older than the town. Older than the soil." I asked him what it wanted. "It doesn't want anything," he whispered. "It just wants to be noticed." He gave me a list. A second set of rules, ones not meant for children. The forbidden rules of the fourth chime. 1. If you hear 4 chimes, you must stay in sacred ground until dawn. Nowhere else is safe. 2. Do not speak your full name aloud. It binds you to the sound. 3. If it follows you into your dreams, wake yourself immediately. Bite your tongue if you have to. 4. Never make eye contact with your reflection after midnight, it remembers too much. 5. You cannot destroy the tower. The town tried once. The survivors forgot who they were. That night, I dreamed of the tower again, only this time, I was inside it. The chains were broken. The faceless woman was gone. And in her place was something tall, wrapped in strips of rotted timepieces, its body stitched from the shadows of the dead. It leaned close to me and whispered, "Thank you for looking." I woke up with dirt under my fingernails and a mouthful of blood. I don't know how long I've been awake since. Sleep feels like a mistake. The tower watches now. Not just me, everyone. The bell doesn't ring anymore. It doesn't have to. People have started disappearing in Ashcroft. No screams. No signs. Just silence and a vacant space where a soul used to be. If you're reading this, don't come here. Don't try to find Ashcroft. And if you do, don't look at the tower. It's no longer waiting for midnight. It's always watching. And the bell is hungry. The hunger doesn't announce itself. It seeps. Like mildew through wallpaper or mold in bread. You don't notice at first. Maybe the shadows feel a little longer than usual. Maybe your neighbor's porch light doesn't turn on. Maybe your dog growls at corners that look empty. But eventually, you wake up at 3:03 a.m. to the sound of a ticking that doesn't come from any clock in your house. That's how it started for me. The ticking. It wasn't loud, not at first. Just faint enough to convince you it's in your head. But it wasn't. It grew louder each night, no matter where I went. It wasn't bound to my house anymore. It had attached itself to me. Father Merton said that once the bell rings for you, you're marked. You can't see the mark. No one can. But the thing inside the tower can smell it. He said time itself begins to rot around you. You'll see it, the way electronics glitch for no reason, how your mirrors fog over only when you look at them, how photos you take come back with faces slightly off. Then, the whispers start. They don't say much. Just your name at first. Soft. Like a lover calling you from another room. Then they start to add words. It's your time. The bell remembers. Tick, tick, tick. I moved out of Ashcroft. Far. I burned everything that had touched the attic, even my clothes, my journals, the chair I sat in. But the ticking followed. My first night in the new city, I saw a newspaper boy standing under a street lamp. He was old-fashioned. Tweed cap. Leather satchel. Just staring up at my window. When I blinked, he was gone. But on my windowsill, a small bell had been placed. Old. Rusted. Warm. I tried smashing it. Tossed it into a river. But every night since, it returns. Always at midnight. Always warm. And now I hear footsteps in my hallway at night, uneven ones, like someone walking on a broken ankle. I reached back out to Father Merton. His church was gone. Gone. Not burned down. Not closed. Gone. The address is an empty lot now. The priest never existed in any local registry. Like something reached back into time and erased him. And now I know what's coming for me. You might think the bell kills you, that it drags you off into some cursed void. But it's worse. Much worse. It rewrites you. People still see me in Ashcroft, according to messages I get from old friends. But I haven't been back. Not physically. They say they waved to me in the market, that I was wearing a watch and smiling in a way that didn't match my mouth. That I wasn't blinking. One friend even swears I stood under the tower at noon, arms open wide, like I was waiting for something to descend. I think that's what happens when the bell finishes feeding. It keeps a piece of you. A clockwork imitation that continues your life in plain sight, just wrong enough that those who knew you feel uneasy. You don't die when the fourth chime comes. You split. And the part that remains is not something you want to meet in a mirror. Final rules, do not forget these. 1. If it ticking follows you, silence all timepieces. Even digital ones. Especially digital ones. 2. If you find a warm bell, do not touch it. Salt it. Bury it in consecrated ground. Pray. 3. Never answer the whisper that says your name 3 times. The third call is a mimic. 4. Don't look at photos of yourself taken after the chimes. If your eyes are wrong, burn the picture. 5. Never go near a tower that shouldn't exist on the map. If it appears, it's already too late. I'm not sure how much time I have left. My clocks have stopped working. The ticking now comes from inside the walls. My own reflection smiled at me today. I think my other self is almost done becoming me. So, if you ever hear a bell ring 4 times at midnight, don't check the time. Don't look outside. And never answer the knock that follows. Because once you hear the 4th chime, you're not just out of time. You're part of the tower.